The medieval period was a time of war, battles, and knighthood. But just who were the greatest medieval knights? Let's find out. El Cid, also known as Rodrigo Diaz de Vivar, is celebrated as one of the most iconic knights of what is now Spain. Known as the champion of Christian Spain, he lived during the 11th century and gained legendary status for his skill, leadership, and adaptability on the battlefield. El Cid's reputation was such that he was both respected and feared by his enemies, whether they were Christian or Muslim, showcasing his prowess and complex legacy. El Cid's military skills were unmatched, earning him a reputation as a master of siege warfare and battlefield tactics. One of his notable characteristics was his ability to adapt to diverse situations and alliances. El Cid was known to fight for both Christian and Muslim rulers depending on the circumstances, prioritizing strategic advantage over strict allegiance to any single side. His flexibility made him a formidable figure in the politically fragmented Iberian Peninsula, where shifting allegiances were common. A defining moment of his career was the campaign to take control of the strategic city of Valencia. After a lengthy siege, El Cid managed to capture the city in 1094, a remarkable accomplishment that solidified his power and influence in the region. His rule over Valencia was characterized by tolerance and pragmatism, with El Cid maintaining a mixed Christian and Muslim population under his leadership. This inclusive approach was rare at the time and highlighted his diplomatic skills alongside his martial abilities. In addition to his strategic mind, El Cid exemplified the medieval ideals of honor and loyalty. These qualities were not only personal traits, but essential to his social standing and success. In the poem of the Cid, a famous medieval Spanish epic, El Cid is depicted as an honorable knight who fights to restore his reputation and regain the trust of his king after a period of exile. The poem captures his loyalty and commitment to justice, showing him as a man driven by integrity and a desire to prove his worth. His faith also played a central role in his knightly character. El Cid was deeply religious, believing that God's support was instrumental in his victories. His devotion inspired those around him, uniting his followers in their purpose and strengthening his forces. His faith in divine favor was reflected in his actions, as he often attributed his battlefield successes to God's support. The belief that he fought with divine sanction only enhanced his reputation as a hero amongst his contemporaries and in later historical accounts. His ability to inspire loyalty among his men was another key component of his success. His troops respected him not only as a skilled warrior, but also as a leader who shared their hardships and rewarded their loyalty. This made him a formidable commander whose forces were deeply motivated and dedicated to his cause. This bond with his soldiers allowed him to maintain a strong and effective army, even in challenging circumstances. Joan of Arc, born in 1412 in Domremy, France, was one of history's most remarkable warriors and leaders. Although she came from a humble background and lacked formal military training, her bravery, vision, and faith inspired the French troops during the critical stages of the 100-Year War. She is often regarded as a unique kind of knight, whose courage and faith made up for any lack of traditional knightly skills and background. At the age of just 17, Joan claimed to receive visions from saints instructing her to support Charles VII and expel the English from France. This message led her to take an unprecedented role as a leader of French forces. Joan demonstrated her skill as a fighter and a leader during the Siege of Orleans in 1429, where she led an assault that broke the English siege. Her presence on the battlefield was inspiring, and her courage and direct leadership were pivotal in rallying the French troops to victory. Joan's effectiveness as a leader stemmed largely from her faith and charisma rather than any formal military training. She was often seen leading her troops from the front lines, riding into battle with a standard rather than a weapon, symbolizing her role as a visionary leader rather than a conventional warrior. Her boldness and perceived divine guidance motivated French soldiers, who believed that God's favor was with them through Joan's presence. This morale boost helped inspire the French to continue their struggle and played a significant role in the eventual shift of power in favor of France. While Joan was not a knight in the traditional sense, she became a symbolic figure of chivalry. Her actions reflected the core values of knighthood: courage, loyalty, and devotion to a cause greater than herself. She believed her purpose was divinely inspired, and she stayed true to her mission despite significant personal risks. Even after being captured by the Burgundians and handed over to the English, Joan's loyalty to her faith and her cause never wavered, ultimately leading to her martyrdom. This unwavering dedication has cemented her as a knightly figure and a national hero of France. She is truly worthy of a place on the list of the greatest medieval knights. William Marshal, often referred to as the greatest knight, was one of the most respected and accomplished knights of the medieval period, renowned for his extraordinary martial skill, loyalty, and unshakable honour. Born around 1146 in England, Marshal's life became a legend that epitomised the virtues of knighthood, shaping him into a towering figure in medieval history. Marshal's skills as a knight were honed from a young age. After being held as a hostage by King Stephen in his youth, an experience that nearly cost him his life, he was sent to Normandy to train under his cousin, William of Tancarville, a renowned lord with a well-established reputation for military training. Here, he excelled in all aspects of knightly training, including combat, horsemanship, and chivalric ideals. This rigorous education laid the foundation for Marshal's prowess in battle and his tactical brilliance, qualities that would serve him throughout his life. One of the primary areas for showcasing his abilities was the tournament circuit. During his early years as a knight, Marshal gained fame by competing in these competitions, which were more like chaotic mock battles than the formalized jousting events of later periods. He quickly earned a reputation for his fearlessness, strength, and shrewd tactics, capturing and ransoming numerous high-profile knights and amassing significant wealth and fame in the process. His success in tournaments became so legendary that he is believed to have won more than 500 of these encounters, a testament to both his combat skills and his strategic mind. Beyond tournaments, Marshal's career was marked by loyalty and service to no less than 5 English kings, earning their trust and respect. He served under King Henry II, Henry's sons, Richard the Lionheart, and King John, and ultimately King John's son, Henry III. Despite the shifting allegiances and conflicts amongst these rulers, Marshal's loyalty remained steadfast. His unwavering support was particularly evident during King John's troubled reign, when Marshal defended the king's interests even as John's reputation faltered. This loyalty extended beyond mere personal allegiance. Marshal believed in the stability of the English crown and sought to protect it. His loyalty was especially significant during the turbulent years of the First Barons' War, when disaffected English barons, backed by Prince Louis of France, challenged King John's rule. After John's death in 1216, Marshal, then around 70 years old, was appointed regent for the young King Henry III. Despite his advanced age, Marshal assumed a leadership role in military campaigns to defend the kingdom, winning key victories against the French and rebellious barons. His actions helped secure the English throne for Henry III and preserved England's independence from French control. His victory at the Battle of Lincoln in 1217 was a crowning achievement, showcasing both his skill as a general and his dedication to England's stability. Marshal's reputation as an honourable, loyal and skilled knight left a profound impact on the medieval world. His life embodied the ideals of knighthood, and his actions cemented his legacy as the epitome of chivalric values. After his death in 1219, his legacy continued to influence future generations. Today, historians still regard William Marshal as a model knight, a symbol of martial prowess and loyalty. Godfrey of Bouillon, one of the most celebrated knights of the First Crusade, is remembered, much like the others in this list, as an exemplar of knighthood, embodying the ideals of courage, piety, and military prowess. Born around 1060 to a noble family in present-day Belgium, Godfrey rose to prominence in European noble circles, becoming Duke of Lower Lorraine. However, it was his role in the First Crusade that solidified his legacy as an esteemed knight and leader. Godfrey's skill as a knight was established early in his career. He demonstrated remarkable loyalty and military effectiveness while serving Emperor Henry IV during the Saxon Wars and conflicts with Pope Gregory VII. This period honed his strategic skills and battlefield discipline, which later played a crucial role in the Crusade. As one of the leaders of the First Crusade, Godfrey's martial abilities were tested in some of the most challenging battles of the era. He led his forces through perilous terrain, navigating the political and logistical challenges of moving armies across unfamiliar territories. His skill in warfare became apparent during the Siege of Antioch in 1098, and later at the climactic Siege of Jerusalem in 1099. At Jerusalem, he played a critical role in breaching the city's defences, which led to the successful capture of the Holy City. Godfrey's dedication to religious principles shaped his approach to leadership. Unlike other leaders who sought political power or personal gain, Godfrey famously refused to take the title of King of Jerusalem after the city's capture, instead choosing to be called Advocate of the Holy Sepulchre. This decision reflected his humility and deep religious devotion, which earned him admiration and respect from fellow crusaders and chroniclers alike. His choice demonstrated that, while he had the power to claim a throne, he saw himself more as a steward for the protection of Christian holy sites. In addition to his martial capabilities and leadership, Godfrey was widely respected for his personal qualities, including his sense of justice and honour. Accounts from the time praise him as a fair and pious leader who sought to maintain discipline among his troops. He aimed to mitigate the chaos and violence often associated with medieval warfare, reflecting a knightly code that emphasized moral conduct, even in wartime. His character inspired loyalty from his men, and he served as a unifying figure among the often fractious Crusader leaders. Although he died just a year after taking control of Jerusalem, Godfrey's legacy endured as a paragon of knightly virtue. His life and deeds became legendary, inspiring songs, chronicles, and literary works that celebrated him as the model of a Christian knight. In his courage, humility, and sense of duty, Godfrey of Bouillon exemplified the highest ideals of knighthood, leaving a lasting impact on the history and culture of the Crusades. The 5 knights in this video each fought and battled for their own individual causes, but all share similar attributes. Known for their chivalry, piety, bravery and courage, they epitomize what it meant to be a knight in the medieval period.